Hi and welcome to Expondo Gastro Experts. We've been talking about promotion and image for your food truck. Today we'll be talking about how to increase its visibility. So we put all the previous lessons together. My name is Michał Orłowski. Let's have a look. Alright, so as always, I will remind you this program is being streamed live, so please use our live chat to let us know what you think, ask questions, and the more you do so, the better we will cover the subject. And subject, of course, today is how to increase the food truck's visibility. So, as I mentioned previously, we've talked about the process of creating a logo, how to create a name, how to do the branding. We talked about paid and free ways to promote your food truck. But to put it all together, when you're in the city or when you take part in an event, a mass event like a concert or something with your food truck, then, well, you might disappear in the crowd. So how do you increase your visibility? Well, first of all, it's the most important, and let me just start a little bit backwards, because the most important in hospitality is the guest and it's his or her comfort. So the most important thing in a food truck or in any restaurant or in any gastronomical business is the service. So what you need are people who are enthusiastic, they're happy with what they're doing, and they're really well skilled and professional about what they do. It is a huge difference, and I have to say, from my own experience, I walked into places, even though I had something else in mind, I walked into places because I got amazed by an enthusiastic and happy crew member who just overheard talking to a different customer. It's just something that is establishing a great contact, because basically the business itself has no way to communicate. It doesn't have a voice. So how you communicate with the outside world is through your image, through your people, and there's no better way to communicate than face to face. So when you have an open-minded, enthusiastic crew, then automatically people will spread the word from mouth to mouth. It will just go like wildfire, because people often, with good service, you can sometimes repair a product that has not the proper quality. It happened to me many times. I went to a restaurant or visited a food truck. The product was so-so, but I still had such a great time with the person serving me that I returned, and I gave him another chance and another chance. It's something that I already said many times, and I keep on repeating it. It's about the love mark. And there's no better way to create the love mark than to talk to your customers, get their feedback, make sure they have a really good time, make sure they're happy. When they're standing with them, just make sure you engage in a conversation. It can be a simple small talk. Ask them how they are, with a smile on your face. People can feel the good atmosphere, and they can feel a bad atmosphere. So if there are people in your food truck just serving and doing their job for the money, which of course they do, but it's all about the attitude. If they just do like, all right, what do you want? All right, this is how much it's going to cost. There you go, that's your product. Off you go. Then people will not return. They will not spread the word, even if they had the best, fantastic experience if it comes to the culinary side. So make sure you have great service, that they're properly skilled and trained. Make sure they do everything along the lines of your communications, ways to communicate. All right, but let's talk about appearance, because all the bits that I've mentioned before, so the logo, the name, the branding, and your virtual persona, your image outside in the media, social medias, paid, unpaid, doesn't matter. Everything needs to be in one spot, and everything needs to be put together and done very consequently, and you need to have one way and your own style, and that's the most important, because if you do not personalize your food truck, if you're just like many others, and you use common motives that nearly everyone has, there's no way of differentiating between you and the competition. So you need to have a very unique own style. So that's really important. And creating your style, you need to think about the utmost important thing. So basically you need to create sort of a feeling of trust in your guests, in your customers. So what it means, transparency is one thing. Show them how things are done. Give them insight in the kitchen so they can see how the dishes are prepared. Make sure everything is clean, that your food truck is screaming cleanliness and I mean that is right and wrongs. Scream only rights. And that's the thing. If someone walks past your business, you may be selling the best product ever, but from far away, if your food truck looks shabby or it doesn't look clean, it doesn't look tidy and neat, then they will just walk past. They will never know how delicious your product is. So make sure everything is really in tip-top condition, top-notch. The uniforms are clean, and that's something everyone should really, look at, because it happened so many times already. Like, I keep seeing it very, very often. That, the food truck looks good, but inside there's like 2 or 3 individuals, all in shabby, worn-out T-shirts with stains on them. I know it's service. I know it happens. I know, because I'm a chef. I'm cooking when there's rush. There's no way to avoid the occasional splash of oil or a bit of sauce on your T-shirt. Make sure you can change those T-shirts. Make sure you always look neat and tidy. So that's really important. All right, but back to your image. So basically, to become recognizable, you need to stand out of the crowd. So a bit of controlled and sort of balanced insanity is absolutely fine. But then again, if it's too much, it's too much. So in saying that, make sure your marketing, your image building is consistent. Do not do too much, because otherwise it just looks like a pile of rubbish. And I've seen a couple of examples too on several events. There's always one. They just want to stand out so much. They put on flags. They put cow's horns on the food truck. There's a neon sign. There's a banner. There's lots of tools and keychains and flags. I mean, sometimes from far away it looks like a rubbish pile. So next to it, it will just if you have a food truck, of course, make sure you have a banner. Make sure everybody knows what you're selling. Make sure everybody associates your design with your product. But then again, a sort of functional and elegant minimalism is the kind of way. It doesn't mean that you have to give up crazy ideas. Please do not. Crazy ideas are important, but choose and pick the right ones and exploit them in every way. But make sure it's not too much. All right, so what you can actually do outside, to give you actually a few ideas, what I reckon what's missing quite frequently when I'm visiting, and I'm trying to visit as many food truck events as possible, as I only can. And basically what happens is, all right, you get to the food truck ground, let's call it. All right, you have 15 food trucks around you. They all serve beautiful foods, all right, from street foods, Thai cuisine, Mexican, hamburgers, steak sandwiches, fries, sugar cotton, churros, sorry. So beautiful products, but then again, I'd love to eat a burrito, and then it turns out there's no place to sit down. And it happened, well, it doesn't bother me because I don't worry about these things, and sometimes I regret my choices, but generally the people I was moving with, sometimes, well, They wanted to eat something, but they were scared they get themselves dirty on the very beginning of an event, so they didn't go for anything, just because they had no place to sit down. So sitting places, benches, bean bags, anything just to go outside into the crowd, giving the customers the comfort they need. And then again, what you can do is flags, something you can put up on the roof of your car, or just put into the crowd so people are passing it and see it from far away. Something to draw attention. Why not? Summer's coming, right? And basically the food truck season is between mid-April to mid-October, the latest, right? So we're talking about summer months, warm months with lots of sun, umbrellas, all right? That's another thing. You do not want to eat a hot burrito with jalapenos and piri-piris and lots of chili in burning sun, right? It's just not pleasant. And if you don't have umbrellas, if you don't have a place to sit down, people will just go for that light sandwich next door, which you want to avoid. You want to be the one where the customers hold and they eat and they spend money and they're happy and they're comfortable. So think of these things. Besides, there's another advantage. If you go outside in the crowd, if you set up an outside section in front of your food truck, it doesn't need to be much. It can be a small picket fence with some bean bags, couple of umbrellas, a bit of artificial grass, and there you go. You have a sort of backyard in front of your food truck on an event. And all it takes is literally a full trunk of stuff, that you can, you're already probably carrying with you anyway. So it's not much that you need. All right, so what else? Model managers and owners, they're beginning to understand that good food is not, good eating is not alone responsible for the success of a company. There's a lot of competition on the markets, and you have to stand out and you have to do more than the others in order to make the break. So what you also can do in order to make yourself more visible is very simple. What I've noticed, maybe on examples, I've noticed many food truck owners, they tend to grab every single event they can without changing their image. And the best thing is to sort of, change yourself a little bit in order to fit the event you're going for. That's what I'm saying. So basically, if you are selling ciabattas and sandwiches, and normally, if on an everyday basis, you're aiming for the office workers who just want to eat a quick lunch and they just don't want to get too full, and you're going for a rock concert as a food truck, change it a little bit, because you need to sort of change with your target group. And you fit the event a little bit better. How about, you change the t-shirts a little bit, or change the products a little bit, just so it's more for concert-like or event-like, rather than everyday, Monday to Friday job sort of crowd. So that's another thing. All right, I see there's questions coming in, so let's switch to Q&A mode. All right. First questions, couple of questions that came through the email. Walter is asking, hi, I run a food truck that serves burgers. I already have a tripod, signboard and a neon sign, and I can still see customers passing me by. What am I missing? It is very difficult to refer to particular situations without knowing all the data. So let me just tell you this way. The best way to get the information about your image is to ask friends, family, and random passerbys for their opinion. And the first step to solving a problem is realizing and admitting that there is one. So first of all, just go outside, get a feedback, talk with people, get their opinion. What do they think attractive? What they find discouraging or deterring. Just think critically about your image. Besides, it's something we call in the industry 1 meter from success. Observe the traffic. Try to find out where the routes of people are. It's like in every city. It is so that people go from a certain point to a certain destination through certain ways. And maybe they're crossing the street a little bit early. Sometimes it's a matter of 1 meter. Wrong corner of the street. People are turning just before your business. They have lights there. And so they cannot, or they will not see it, or they will not go there to your place in order to return back. So maybe there's some competition on the way further down the street. So it's these things you have to consider. And with the food truck, you have the mobility on your side. It is the advantage of that industry, of that branch of industry. So you can move your food trucks where people are. And sometimes it's really, it's the small things that do the job. And I keep repeating it. Sometimes you're twisting the banner the other direction will give you a huge increase in sales, because when we were standing sideways, people were just walking past, they didn't see what it is. You turn it on 90 degrees and suddenly all these people see you have a calamari, prawn, shrimp, cheese, burger on the menu that you are craving for. You didn't even know you wanted it until they've seen it on the board. So make sure you adjust, you make small adjustments, small changes, keep rotating things, keep asking people. The people who came to your place, find out why they came to your place, what they found attractive, and emphasize that bit. Get rid of all the things that people found discouraging or deterring. So that's very important. All right. Question from Jesse. I have thousands of crazy ideas, but I can't realize them myself. Where do I look for help? The topic is food trucks. It's becoming more and more popular. There are more and more companies. You can find them on the internet specializing in fulfilling crazy ideas. And of course you can do it yourself, try and do it yourself and slowly build up. But then again, a professional company will tell you the do's and don'ts, and they will kind of do it in a much controlled way. All right. So I know it's all about the budget, but then again, these companies are there. If you're talking about branding, if you're talking about designing, there's thousands of advertisements. If you don't want to spend too much, ask for students, graphic designer students, or architecture students, or people who know about colors, shapes, and all that bit. So just use the help, use the advice. You can use those companies I mentioned not only to fulfill the whole idea and realize the project, but also to get the opinion and just focus on consulting and do things yourself. Besides, on YouTube, on fan pages and such, there's a lot of sources. You can ask for help. You can ask for advice. These are usually friendly people, and they like to share their experiences. All right, Mary Louise. I don't have millions for neon signs, so what else can I do? All right. So let me tell you about, let me answer this with a few examples. Quite recently, I think it was May or June, I visited a green festival in my hometown, Olsztyn. What it is basically a 3-day long festival. It has a lot of concerts, and it usually starts around 5 or 6-ish. I went a little bit early because I'm there with the little kids, so I'm kind of avoiding the huge crowds. And from the very entrance, because the food trucks were open a little bit sooner, so we went there for the food trucks and for the first concert. Anyways, as soon as we entered the concert grounds, we've noticed several people, mainly staff and organizers, who are carrying sort of cones, interesting cones with chips in it, and a special sauce container hanging in that cone, with of course the logo and the brand name from that truck that sells it. So first thing, we decided to go and buy a cone of chips in that particular place because that's what we've seen and I found it really interesting. On our way to the food truck grounds, we've spotted some people with lemonades in those really colorful jugs, sort of, with colorful and long straws in fluorescent colors. So guess what? 10 minutes later, I had a cone of fries in my left hand and a lemonade with this long straw in my right hand. That's how marketing works. I've seen it, I wanted it, and I got it, all right? On the same event, there was just one stand with cotton candy. But the guy was selling it on those glowing sticks. You can get them by hundreds on various internet shops. So they're out there. They increased the price of the cotton candy in saying that by the end of the day, I've seen hundreds, if not 1,000 people on the concert ground with those glowing sticks. It just shows how effective that is. So it's the small things that do the job. You don't need to invest in huge banners, huge sign. Do the right one thing. So either packaging or the way you serve it, or hand out stickers. That's also the thing. Like, make sure you do something to increase your chances. All right. I see there are no more questions on our live chat. If something comes up to your mind, if you have any other questions about food truck visibility, marketing, or anything connected to the hospitality industry, you're very welcome to send me an email on the address below. Also, feel free to look through our archive. We have several materials on food truck branding, logo, name, and such. I also invite you guys to watch our next episodes where we'll be talking about degustation as a form of promotion. And later on, we're going technical with the food truck. So that's about it from me. I thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you very much for your participation and your questions. And I hope I see you next time.